of the most admirable chasers you could possibly wish to see.
Hello and welcome to another edition of the Racehour podcast brought to you with our friends at Gambling.com and BetMGM. It is the second of our Cheltenham preview vlogs, podcasts, videos, as you call them. Yesterday's one I hope you're all catching up with on YouTube already, where they went over day one and day two. It's myself, Dean Ryan, back for one appearance only, I think, pre-Cheltenham Festival. So I do hope that you enjoy my dulcet tones back on the airwaves tonight. So Nolan is here. How are you doing?
Hello, Dino. All good, all good. Just, very comforting to know that you're still breathing and you're still around the place anyway, Dino.
Clearer than before, I would say. In fact, you can be the judge of that, but that's great to hear. Thanks, Dermo. Stephen Cass is back. Cass, you've taken over the host chair with such a plum. I'm wondering if we're going to hand it back.
Well, I'm sure if we go to the public, we know in the long run which one they'll go for. But it's nice you can make these guest appearances every so often, Dino, I'd say. That'd be the right way of doing it. But no, seriously, it's great to have you back. Good to hear your dulcet tones. I'm probably more comfortable tipping than hosting. So genuinely great to have Dino back in the chair.
Good at both, Stephen, I'd like to say. Fair play to you. That's good to have Cass here. And Tanya Stevenson is back. The C word is nearly upon us, Tanya. It's good to have you join us.
Yeah, it nearly is. But luckily for me, it clashes with Sawgrass. So I've got a little bit of escapism in the evening. So is everyone else. But no, it's a really intriguing dynamic this year for Cheltenham. Really looking forward to it. And we've got a nice couple of days to go through.
We do. Day one and day two already been done, of course, on the Racehour with our esteemed panel from yesterday. Do check that out. So that's doing their big guns already on YouTube. Just a bit of housekeeping, of course. BetMGM just gone with Bet10 gets 60, which is a cracking offer, of course, ahead of the Cheltenham Festival. In fact, the best offer in the industry, I'm reliably informed. The Bitly code will be on your screen. Of course, it is MGM Racehour. That's exclusive to us. Loads more and brilliant festival offers. Let's get stuck in, lads. We're going to the Thursday, of course. We're doing Thursday and Friday. The first race we're going to talk about on that card is the Turners. Then we'll do the Ryanair, the Stairs, and the Mares, the rest of day three before we get stuck into day four and, of course, the Gold Cup. Let's go straight into the Turners. Stephen Cash, you arrived late, but I'm going to go to you first. Now, the viewers don't know that happened. But the one thing that did come out of your mouth was, I fancy one in that. We're talking about the Turners. Away you go.
I do. I think there's one that's a completely wrong price here. The English well fancied Grey Dawning and Ginny's Destiny towards the head of affairs. The Irish angle here. I mean, if Facile Vega is the best we can send, maybe he could do it. But there isn't much here. And I just think the price of Jello is completely wrong. He's 25-1 there now, everywhere. And this race is going to cut up big time. You're going to have 6-7 runners. And, it's not going to take much winning. You're going to run into 150. He's going to get you there. Jello, he won 2 handicaps, beat Master Chewy, which is good form. I'd half fancy him to run well in the Arkle. He won a grade 2 around Ascot, absolutely skated in. And then in the last 2 runs, there was an F and a 2, but the F was, he was basically a horse careered into him, and he went at the first at Linkfield, put a line through that. And I think behind Nickelback in the Scilly Isles, he was ridden out the back, basically on the back of that. It was just, right, let's get this fella around. And he finished second, perfectly respectable. He's rated every bit as good as the other English horses. It's not going to take much winning. He's 25-1, 6-year-old, improving Venetia Williams chaser. I think there's an awful lot to like, and there's a good chance he could just be the best of them.
Could be. Jello, an interesting chat there for Venetia Williams' team. Of course, a very big price. Let's check the latest price for that one with our sponsors. They are going 20-1. Jello, a bit bigger out there in the industry, but check that out. That's the Turner shout from Stephen Cass. You've made a good case, Tanya. What do you like?
Yeah, well, Venetia's coming back in form as well. A really, really crucial moment. And Steve was quite right last time. It felt him and Nickelback, and nothing was going to get to Nickelback at a track that was quick, a really quickly run race. However, Stephen's already laid mention to at the top of the market. There's real confidence behind Ginny's Destiny and, of course, Grey Dawning. The beauty about Ginny's Destiny, all 4 chase races recently have been over the bigger obstacles. If you go to the November one, it wasn't even favourite. Krabilly was favourite when falling, but you never know what Krabilly would have gone and done when it coming down. But you seem to think when you watch Ginny's Destiny over and over again, there was more to come. And at that point, it was totally green. Then a month later, Ginny's Destiny went back to Cheltenham, and you just saw what a powerhouse Ginny's Destiny was, because then went away from a perfecto Now, the key race of all, which is no doubt next week going to be touted when coming into Ginny's Destiny, was the last race when was hiking round 12 stone. A Perfecto was again second. Sorry, Theatre Man was second. A Perfecto was in there. Prairie Wolf, who's come out and won subsequently at Catterick without cheap pieces, was in the race. Bow to Greatness, who was fifth. That could have got a lot closer behind Forward Plan at Kempton. And then Blow Your Wad, who was in sixth, came out and won the Pendle. But the key was, if you keep watching Ginny's Destiny in between the third last and the second last, that is a crucial acceleration moment for Ginny's Destiny. And then even come to the second last, the ears were pricked and off we went. And the best Ginny's Destiny was going was over the last fence. Now, Great Dawning has already come across Ginny's Destiny as well. And having been beat by Ginny's Destiny, we were all left scratching our heads because Great Dawning was favourite on that occasion. But then Great Dawning went and trounced Apple Away at Warwick. So Ginny's Destiny is very, very strong. I'd have to rely myself because a bit later on in the day, one of my thoughts of the festival runs. But also the unknown quantity in this contest is Iroko. If Iroko comes here, I mean, we've only seen Iroko once and that travelled sweetly, really, really sweetly. And you're left pondering what will Iroko do. But for me in the contest, the fact that Ginny's Destiny's had the 4 races at Cheltenham, coming back obviously here again, and carrying 12 stone and giving those rivals lots and lots of weight, it'd be Ginny's Destiny for me.
Sure. And a lot of people were left with a great impression from that last win, and it kind of following the stage star routes, and everyone's into, the UK have got to win some race. This could be one of the races they do take down. Ginny's Destiny, Grey Dawning, Iroko, all of course trained for the home team. They'll all have big chances. There might be a fine ointment though, Dermo, and I know you love this horse so much, but Gaelic Warrior was touted as yesterday being said that this is where they're going to go. It's possible or the article, but if they came in dog favourite or Facile Vega comes here, he's going to be well backed. UK going to win this race, Dermo, or can it go back to Ireland again?
Well, the Richie said yesterday, Arkle, wasn't it?
I think he said they were leaning towards the article, which makes sense because the horse does like to lead.
Yeah, he does. And it depends on what way Willie's leading Sunday morning and Monday morning, really. But I just can't have Gaelic Warrior. He's a much better chance in this race because the new course he'd be able to get away with a lot more of it. I've heard people referencing Captain Chris and the Nur Jamila's horses that went right. They didn't go anywhere near as right as this horse does when he's not meeting a fence right. I was at Leopardstown. We watched him jump the first. It was crazy how far right he went. And him actually going as right as he did actually let Fact the File away with it, who also went a bit right at every fence, but he just didn't go as... He just didn't go as...
Dermo, Gaelic Warrior.
He just didn't go as...
What do you fancy at the Turners?
He asked you about Gaelic Warrior, you moron. You absolute moron.
I know, we're on the rush there.
What did you think about Gaelic Warrior?
We're talking about Gaelic Warrior in the wrong race.
Stephen, who turned up late, is trying
yeah, he turns up 15 minutes and he's throwing barbs around the innies. Facile Vega looks... he bounced back from a very poor run at the DRF last season to nearly win a Supreme. He's going to bounce back from a very poor run again, but going up and trip will kind of save his jumping, so he'd be the one from here.
So you still think, even though it might be a leg decision, which one of the Irish ones gets out, that one will be good enough to handle the UK contingent? So that's it.
I think Fact the File, the longer it goes on, the more I'm slightly leaning back towards Ginny's Destiny, who I kind of liked for this for a long time. But last season there was such a gap between the shorter distance novice hurdlers from Ireland and England that I do still think the Irish, they were so far clear last season that I just don't quite believe that the English have caught up this much over the shorter distances. Over 3 miles, Stay Away Faye did do that last season, but over the shorter distances, I'd have a bit of a question mark there, didn't you?
All right, a vote for Facile Vega there for Willie Munsey. Of course, this is where they choose. I did kind of murmur like that across social, but I'm sure only one man knows, and it's not on this podcast. Stephen Castleight's Jello for Venetia Williams, and Ginny's Destiny gets pretty strong vote confidence from Tanya Stevenson. Let's move on to the Ryanair. Tanya, do you want to have first crack at this? Banbridge is going to maybe be hoping for some dry weather. I'm not sure he's going to get it. If he does get it, it'd be hard to beat.
Very hard to beat. Very, very hard to beat because, he's been raced sparingly, and when he came to Kempton, he beat Pictor, and Edwardstone, and perhaps surprised a few, because when he ran into the third, second, and last, he ran into the fences with a little bit of hesitancy, and you can understand that, having had 275 days off the track. But he's a quality performer. He's won a Grade 1 at Aintree, beating Saint Roy. He's Pictori winner, won the Ascot Chase. There's a stat that I dug out that Joseph O'Brien's had 5 runners in GB for Ronnie Bartlett and won with 4 of them. I mean, Banbridge, as you say, needs the weather. Needs the weather. We got Capodanno potentially in the contest, who ran a brilliant race in the Cotswold. And in doing so well in the Cotswold, it'd be Ahoy Signor. But unfortunately for Ahoy Signor on that day, 3 out, the stirrup broke for Stephen Mulqueen, which was really unfortunate because it was travelling away nicely. Then I don't know what happened at the Ascot Chase, why Ahoy Signor, who generally goes out in the front, was sat behind. And yeah.
As freebies go, that was wrapped up nicely, wasn't it? From the there's a nice bow put on it, and Harry Cobley just opened up on the way round. He enjoyed himself, but yeah, it doesn't. You've got to still got to prep some. Yeah,
Banbridge for me, but as you say, you need the ground to dry out a little bit. Maybe at this stage, Fugitive seems a silly price, because last time out, he was over a trip that was so far short for him. If you've got the opportunity, go back and watch the race and see where Fugitive is 4 out and 3 out, and where he is at the end of the contest. Because, fair enough, enjoy Elixir de Nuts and John Bon as they are. But remember, that wasn't over Fugitive's trip. He'll be running over his trip coming up next week if he goes to the Ryanair. And at this stage, he's a silly price. He's a good value price. Once again, to nick into second, maybe even win it. You don't know. But Bainbridge for me, Fugitive is a huge danger.
Yeah, we'll all be watching the skies for Banbridge's chances. Of course, they're very unlikely to run on ground that isn't going to suit. They've been pretty sparingly putting him on the race course with that in mind. 20-1 is Fugitive with our sponsors BetMGM. Stephen Cass, any value in the Ryanair?
It's coming to the rain, isn't it, with Banbridge? I think if you wanted to, you could take a chance, and if it's dry, and the forecast is changing, every time I look at it, it's changing. But if Joseph won't run him if it's not dry, if it's dry, he'll go off 7-4, and he's 3-1. So that's
3-1 BetMGM, correct?
Yeah. But I'm looking at YR now. While Tanya was talking, I looked it up again. I hadn't looked at it since early this morning, and at the moment, and we're getting to a stage they should be somewhat accurate. Saturday it starts raining, and between Saturday and Monday, 22 mils of rain they're given on the Norwegian weather forecast. Now I don't know what BBC weather's saying. I find YR.no very good, very reliable. But
it's the best.
It is. It's very changeable. So at the moment, 22 mils. It's it can't dry out by the Thursday by then because it's not that warm, so it'll be tacky. So let's say Banbridge doesn't run, the ground's really soft. In that case, I think Stage Star has ran, I think 7 or 8 times at soft ground. He had that when he pulled up behind Sir Gerhard in the Ballymore that time. But apart from that, he's won nearly every single one of them. I think Nichols will have him right. He goes brilliantly fresh. So look, it's forecast dependent. I'm kind of going to say no bet. Stage Star could win. Banbridge could win. But if the rain comes, definitely Banbridge or Stage Star. Sorry, I prefer him to Envoy Island at the top of the market. So 4-1 is fine.
Yep, Stage Star currently 92 with BetMGM as we record. And you were a big fan of Stage Star earlier on in the season. Of course, I remember being on the Racehour when he put up to win its season opener. They almost seemed to accept defeat before they ran the last day. I remember them being filled in the paddock about what they were expecting to do. It was like, just put them out there. It's not today. It's not an important day. It was around that kind of quiet Paul Nicholls spell. Will you be Stage Starring it into the Ryanair then?
Yeah, that was very strange because Paul Nicholls said he was looking for any excuse not to run him. And then he said afterwards he couldn't work him properly for about a month after it because the horse had hit a fence wrong because he couldn't jump out of the ground. It was madness, whatever. He said himself now, it was madness. But I literally going to echo everything Cass said. Good-ish ground, because if it's the better side of soft, Banbridge will run. You see some people on Twitter talking as if he's some 5-furlong sprinter that needs a road. He doesn't. He just doesn't want it bottomless. Like he wants the better side of soft. So if Banbridge runs, He'll win, I think, and if not, stage star. Completely copying Caster.
All right. Well, it's all about the skies. It's how weather forecasters, right? Might not see Banbridge, and it does seem like very much the substitute waiting on the bench to come on and score the goal is stage star. Okay, that was the Ryanair. Let's move on to the Stayers Hurdle. Recent travails mean, of course, with no constitution help having appeared on the Tuesday, the Irish point very likely now to check out an engagement in the Champion Hurdle, which means the Rockpool team, of course, have Tiupu tee up the yard. As I said to you, Dan and Nolan, just during the week, that works out nice for anyone involved in any kind of anti-post action on Tiupu. What do you make of the Stayers? Taking out Irish point does make it a little bit of a one-horse race, but I'm away.
Yeah, I don't agree. No, I don't think Tiupu is this good. I really don't. Also, I don't think you can get soft enough for him. It's just about soft enough for him for Irish heavy. So, UK soft, I don't think that's going to be soft enough for him to really, really shine. I think he wanted like an absolute quagmire. So I'm on Noble Yates at a big price, Dino. I think the more we step towards the spring ground, the better that'll suit him. Emmett Mullins was on TV, as bullish as Emmett Mullins will be. He said he hoped he'd be disappointed if he wasn't involved. He said, which
he doesn't run.
Any other trainer that means, this horse is a certainty. But if they put the cheek pieces back on him, all of his career best runs, including that fourth in the Gold Cup last year, were all when he had the cheek pieces on him. He hasn't worn them since the Grand National last year. So if they put them on him, that's a real statement of intent that while they believe they can win the Grand National, this probably is his most winnable race of the two, just with, he's rated quite high now in the Grand National. So I'd love to see the cheek pieces back on him. It's actually a crackingly deep race now with kind of Flooring Porter. And my last note is that Flooring Porter running actually does the world of good for the Noble Yateses and horses like that, because he's going to properly inject real force of pace into it. And Noble Yates could be one of the ones to pick that up later on, dude.
Fair enough. If Flooring Porter wins another Stayers Hurdle, I may just cancel the whole day of my life. Having had him not be in the Stayers Hurdle a couple of times in a row and not fancying at all. When I saw that come up the other day, knowing I'm on Tuesday, that's not going to work for me. There's some fascinating horses in here, though. 9-4 currently is the market leader, obviously, Tuesday. They go 11-2, Crambo, Noble Yates at 9, 10-1 to go, 12-1, the aforementioned Flooring Porter. Monkfish, like to go in the Gold Cup, is next in the betting. Tanya, make some sense of it for me, please.
Well, look, Crambo. We haven't mentioned.
You have to mention.
You have to mention Crambo. You have to mention Crambo, who was been counted as a Stayers protagonist. He didn't disappoint at Ascot, but he did disappoint the swathes and swathes of Paisley Park fans.
That's true.
A brilliant ride by Johnny Burke, and Fergal has kept him under wraps since, waiting patiently for the Cheltenham Festival. It's a really great race. Really great. You've got 3 of the previous winners in the race, Flooring Porter. You have Cyr de Burley and you have dear old Paisley Park. It's an absolute cracker. You'll have Dashor Drasher coming to the party. It'll be a furiously run race. Watch the replay of last year where I thought Tiapu, had every chance. I know he was hampered a little bit by Dashor Drasher, but I just feel as though there'll be another kind of Cyr de Burley in the race to really get to Tiapu. He travelled so well coming into the last Tiapu, but then that was it. Dashor Drasher had set the race up beautifully, which Flooring Porter could do alongside Dashor Drasher this time. So you are looking for horses that will come through. Noble Yates being one, which we've. In fairness, Noble Yates, he won the Grand National. We must stop looking at him just for this race as the Grand National winner, more so for the ability he does have, and he has immense ability, as proven at Cheltenham last time out. We've got Crambo who'll be sat behind, ready to come through late, and depending on how fast they go is depending how close Paisley Park will be. Now, coming into the race last year, he wasn't in as good as form as he is this year. He was been beaten a long way in the Cleve. He'd been beaten by about 6-7 lengths. This time, of course, he's come through in the Cleve and almost got to Noble Yates, and he's caused the judge to have a photograph on his last 3 runs. He's got the little selfie Now, I'm pretty sure, to the joy of the crowd, another selfie's coming. And I just hope, forgive me everyone, that the selfie is the right one. He'll come through and he'll just make a day of it. The problem is,
story.
yeah, it would be some story, but that's not without the ability. If you look his form this year, he's been beaten like a head, a neck, and a short head. It's not like a fallacy. He's not coming. He literally has been every stayers hurdle trial. He's been second, hit by a whisker. But then if you pull yourself away and take sentiment away for it, potentially has to be Cranbo, really, because he's fresh. The race will be run to suit, and it's just up to, I presume it'll be Johnny Burke, just up to Johnny to be in the right place at the right time, and not give too much away early doors, and then also be aware that Paisley's going to be somewhere.
They're going to get similar style rides, aren't they? Cranbo, of course, only 7, Paisley Park 12. Can the UK win this, Stephen?
Yeah, I think so. I think it's kind of wide open. I have a funny theory on Tiupu in that he can't get it soft enough, but I don't think he's going to get home if it's really soft. I don't think everyone's talking about Davy Russell last year and they're trying to make gags about him being a mannequin or whatever. I don't think he's anything wrong on the horse last year. I thought he'd be fair and square.
Darren Hughes called him a prisoner of war, which was quite funny.
Yeah, that was funny. Like, and he did some bad rides, but tell me what he did wrong on Tiupu.
No, it was Pied Piper was the shocking one.
Yeah,
that's what he did. That was bad too. Yeah.
But he did nothing wrong on Tiupu, and I think the horse didn't quite stay. So I do think the English could win at Paisley Park. I would say I'd agree with Tanya. Probably has the best form of the English. I think if ground dries out, then Tiupu's form figures on soft or heavy, he's 8 from 9. And then on good or better, he's yielding or better, he's 2-1-9-6-4, and the 6 was finishing last. So on better ground, he's beaten. On heavy ground, he doesn't get home. That's the way I see it. I am taking a flyer on a wild one and a big upset. I think if Paisley Park is up there, which he kind of is, I think that Dashiell Thrasher looked the winner jumping the last year. He looked the winner jumping the last in the Cleve. He's got really good form this year. He beat Paisley Park earlier on in the year. His Cheltenham New Course record is brilliant. It's 1-2-2-2-4. And the 4, he was given weight to Noble Yates and Strong Leader. He was giving them £6. You swing that around, he would have been right there with Noble Yates. All these horses are around 9-1, 10-1 and fancied. And this fella's going to be triple figures, I'd say, on the exchanges, and he's 40-1 now. He's such an easy way of going. He's going to be there jumping the last, and then he probably will fold and be on place. That'll be my.
You'll have fun. You'll have fun with your 3 figures.
Abelay, I'd back him on an Abelay up, and back him at 50 or 80 or 100 or whatever.
That was the most disappointing finish to it.
Yeah, but I can easily see him running a huge race, and I'd back him to get your stake back and have a 60-1 winner or something, because I think you actually genuinely could do that with Dashiell Thrasher. So that's kind of my angle on the race, but I've nothing like I don't have a tip at the top of the market.
No, that's fine. Dashiell Thrasher from Stephen. In the same way that I might tell you to watch One Day on Netflix, but when you get to the last episode, you are going to cry. That's the reality. All right.
Is Dashiell Thrasher in that? Do you know why?
No, I don't think so. No, that's a reference. That's a reference for the people have a bit more time on their hands than you, Stephen.
Stephen is Taekwondo to get the glove.
Okay, I'll just summarize. The stayers had Noble Yates for Diarmuid, Nolan, of course, given it to you plenty of times on the Racehour during the course of the year. Cranbo is the pick of Tanya Stevenson, but thinks there might be a very nice photo finish involving Paisley Park, and if that went the right way, there would be tears everywhere. I'd say in both cases. And Dashiell Thrasher at a big price for Stephen Cass. Stephen, I give you the unenviable task of tackling the mares novices pair. Of course, it sounds like from mine, previous circuit, obviously a massive full tilt now. That brighter days ahead cannot be beat, will not be beat, could go off odds on at biggest certainty of the week for Ireland. Not odds on currently. Is it the biggest certainty of the week for Ireland?
Don't know. Not enough evidence here for me to make a view. I thought she's got a savage knee action, would want soft ground. Depends which way the weather goes. Look, I put it this way: I'm not having a bet here, so I've nothing interesting to say. But if you're to tell me who are you going to trust, the Willie Mullins yard or the Gordon Elliott yard about a good one, I'd back the Mullins guys. And and especially when it's almost twice the price. Nah, I've nothing interesting to say here, Dino. Sorry now.
That's fine. That's fine. I teed you up for a big fall, and fair enough.
Oh, sorry, I
you
forgot.
tough one over.
Sorry, I forgot. I have backed one here at 500 on Betfair. I totally forgot. I have a case.
He's in such a flap about Taekwondo.
Yeah. Oh gosh, sure. For listeners, like I was checking the internet connection at 10 minutes to 2 here. We're recording 2 o'clock. Connection was bad. I drove home. I didn't have the headpiece. I didn't have the charger for the laptop. I drove back into the shop here to record, and I'm all over the place. But anyway, right, I have a great case to make here.
But you're back with a 500 to 1. Let's go.
Yeah. At penny 100, right? And an RPR, this horse is the 4th best horse here on RPRs. If we get the rain, Jukebox Jewelry will actually love the slop. Was 6 lengths behind Jade Grugy the last day. Now, was well beat, but has a £5 swing. Genuine, I was backing this thing at 450 on Betfair. Maybe it won't go, but there's been boilovers in this race before. There was that thing that Noel Feely rode for Willie. Willie's won this. Yeah. So Willie has won this with unexposed mares before. Oh, geez, like, can we cut it out and I come back in? I say, I really fancy one here at a big price. But anyway, the one is a penny 100. Probably will go to Fairy House or something. But if it runs, I think back it now, have a few pennies at 400 on Betfair or whatever it is for the crack. I think
the Tara Farm is not bad either at all. That's fair.
So Genuine is fourth in on RPR. I just don't know how it's such an enormous price. It's actually third in. I'm after resorting here. Third in on RPRs. It's 400 to 1. It's 50 to 1 in the books. The price is just wrong.
50 to 1 price is just wrong with BetMGM. Is a penny 100, of course. Trained by Rick Mullins. He's going to run lots of them here. You did start your campaign for that horse, Stephen, by forgetting about it, but then moving on to onto it, of course. But before you remember that you backed it, you said you trust the Mullins man to come good over the Elliott man. The man who loves this Mullins horse, Jade de Grugy, is there not?
Yeah, lower. Brilliant at Christmas. Brilliant last time. I also love the fact that Ruby keeps talking up better days ahead, but then finishing up by saying, but I wouldn't be swapping Jade de Grugy for her anyway. As in, I just like when all the yards do that, particularly the Mullins yard. Like, it's very different than that year. When like Bob Oliger was being spoken up, they loved their one, but they did keep saying, but Bob Oliger looked really good. They're not shirking away from this talk at all. This is the deepest race of the festival for the level. It's a very, very good race. The front 4 are excellent. Really, really good, including the Golden Ace. I am definitely covering Cass's one there, because for all his usually mental outsider one, there's proper reasoning there. But
there's a reason Stephen Cass comes on these demos, to give us something at Dundalk for a Friday, and to find something at a few hundred to 1 on the exchanges that we've never heard of.
We've never had a winner with it, though. I don't think we've ever had one.
Not yet, but Sizing John was 400 or 500 to 1 by you as well at some point.
670 Diarmuid, but I don't like to talk about it.
Go on, Devin.
Look, the flow is gone. Jade de Grugy wins, Steve. Jade de Grugy wins.
Jade de Grugy wins. Okay. All right, look, before we go to Tanya, just give you a quick spin on the bet. 13 to 8 favourite is Brighter Days Ahead, of course, for BetMGM. 9 to 4, Jade de Grugy. Dice up. Enos is in there at 4 to 1. It's actually 10 to 1 Bardo's top 3. Dermo's talking about how, this is one of the deepest races at Cheltenham Festival. Certainly a fascinating contest. It's probably not all about the top 2, but what do you like, Tanya?
How about Springtime Promise?
How about
it? Could be a really good day for Fergal with Cramwell. You've mentioned Dies at Enos, but he's got Springtime Promise in the race, who was and still is unheralded. She's a little superstar. She's my heroine of the season. It's not a case of looking at ratings with her. It's her heart and her grit and her determination. When we first saw her, it was at Huntingdon. Then she went to Sedgefield, and she loves a battle. Give me a battle. It's nothing. I do appreciate Brighter Days Ahead, who to me is a superstar and looked as though it was only going down to the start when it won the race. But I appreciate that Brighter Days Ahead needs really, really deep ground, or it is a super. But Springtime Promise, when you see Brighter Days Ahead, it hasn't got in a battle. You know what Springtime Promise can give you in a battle. After her wins at Huntingdon and her win at Sedgefield, she went to Sandown, and perhaps because of her route to Sandown being so unfashionable, and she came under the radar. And I think people are still sitting back and underestimating her, because Sandown's not easy. to tackle by any means, and certainly not when you're coming from behind. And the going was on the softer side, as it always is at Sandown. But she seemed to start running stronger when she ran in between the second last and the last. And I think there's still more improvement to come. That was a grade 2 at Sandown as well. And if she is allowed to have her chance here, she seems to me more accomplished rather than being so much a novice. She seems battle hardened and certainly value. If she is allowed to take a chance, if you look at her price now, she's really, really good each way value, and she will not give up. She'll be, if Paddy's needed elsewhere, Conor Brace has been riding her anyway. But she's top value. She's the sort of horse that's adapted to anywhere, because sometimes you can pigeonhole them. You can run at Cheltenham, you'll be better off at Aintree. She just seems so versatile. She's good at a speed track. She's good at a tough track. So Springtime Promise, she might be value each way.
Love that. 33-1. Unbeaten, of course. Came through the point-to-points in October last year. Fascinating contender. Another one of Fergal O'Brien's. If he could win with Crambo and then Dysart Enos or Springtime Promise going pro six, he'll feel like all his Cheltenhams have come in one go. And it's very possible that it does too. Now, we're going to quickly do the rest of day 3, which means if you've got something you like in the attempts, the plate, or, of course, the Kim Muir, you're able to take it away. And there's been a few big gambles this happening over the course of the week because the preview circuit got into full gear. Nolan, where do you want to go with the rest of the day?
Yeah, look, a horse I've been going on about. We ended up napping on the preview night at 8-1, but obviously much shorter now. Horse I've been going on about for years, Dean, as I know the way you're thinking. I always said once this horse got the 3 miles plus, we'd see a completely different racehorse, and the market definitely agrees. It's getting a bit twitchy now that the price is getting so short. Yeah, literally. But look, I put it up a bigger, but definitely, 7-2 is, God, it's short, especially for, I know Stephen Castle loves the old walk in the parks, but, it'd be a bit dodgy now, about 3 miles, 6-1 maybe, or 3 miles and a bit. In the plate, I really do like Shake 'em Up Harry at 12-1. Think these solid horses can be overlooked. The Pertemps, I'll definitely be kind of backing one on the day, Dean. But just one note as well is that in races like the Pertemps, you can 7 of the last 12 had run at Cheltenham before. The plate, 9 out of 12, but 4 of the last 10 winners of the Kim Weir had never run at Cheltenham before. So whilst Cheltenham runners in handicaps are really important, the likes of the Kim Weir and the Pertemps, it's actually just the best handicap horses win these races. I know that sounds silly, but the Ultima is 12 out of 12. You have to run at Cheltenham to win that race. But the Kim Weir being such a low grade handicap, not running at Cheltenham before actually isn't the kind of curse that it might be for every other handicap at the festival. So if I know the way you're thinking is as well handicapped as I think, he probably just wins regardless of how he handles the place.
What price do you think he will go up then? I mean, BetMGM goes 7-2 now, but every bookmaker's run away from this for so past
I'd say
5 or 6 days. Can he go that short?
I'd say 3-1 because
Really?
Percival, the Galwell's not running.
Correct.
The other horse has come out. Good Time Johnny won't run either. I'd say out of just pure principle. Cool Survivor wasn't really talked up till now because Firm Footings was injured. Angel's Dawn won last year, but she looks fairly exposed now as well. And when you keep going, I don't see much else there. If there is a potential star here, in inverted commas, it's him. All
right. Kim Muir, I know the way you're thinking. Devon, of course, put it up on the main preview night previously when it was a big price, 9-7. He likes Shake 'em Up Harry in, of course, the plate, and in the Pertemps. We'll all have to find something. Stephen Katz, what do you like?
Yeah, just one in the Pertemps actually. And this horse, Prairie Dancer, Joseph does not send them over unless they have a chance. Load of back class over hurdles. This horse, he won a Lartigue, which the English listeners probably won't even have heard of, but it's a big 4-year-old handicap hurdle run at Killarney or Listowel, sorry. So he has class. He was third in the Galway hurdle. He then went off the boil for a year or two, and he's come back on the flat, absolutely flying it. So he won a November handicap at Naas over 2 miles on soft. He's totally unexposed, going up and trip over hurdles. He's rated 89 on the flat after winning that November handicap. Ran a listed race after that, wasn't disgraced. One run over hurdles since in a Pertemps handicap at Carlisle, finished third, He hadn't done a run. That was in December, and they put him away. He's going for this, and he's 50-1. So Joseph, he's unreal to target one at a race. Get him right. This fella could well have something in hand. He looks like he's improving. Our back certainly getting his old form back. So I like him as a horse always. I liked him when he ran in the Boodles back in the day. But I just think he's unexposed the trip. If he stays, he'll have a big shout, and he's a huge price.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure for that Boodles, he was one of these hundreds pluses on bet there at the time when we were looking at Prairie Dancer going back that far. 50-1, as you say, for the potential with BetMGM Prairie Dancer going into this year's festival. Joseph, to target one. Tanya, anything to pick out from the potential plate or the Kim Muir for yourself?
Theatre Man, he's in the plate. Hopefully you'll get in. Hopefully you'll get in. He's had 3 races over fences. He's yet to win. We spoke about Ginny's Destiny earlier, and Theatre Man was the horse that was second in the most recent run for Ginny's Destiny. Couple of keys behind that. It was a time when Richard Bandy, his horses, he was 0 from 13 in January. He's now 3 from 8 in February. They're starting to really run exceptionally well. But Theatre Man, when you watch the race, the only horse to gain ground on Ginny's Destiny from 3 out was Theatre Man, who looked as though he needed every bit of the trip that they were going over. Harry Compton, I think, has been booked to ride as well. It was said, so he's improving with each race. You can't really get too much better form than that, and he'll come into the race. He'll need a really fast pace, as a Ginny's Destiny gave you a great example of. And good luck to Richard Bandy for this, because he'll come in ideally into the contest from about 2 out. Don't expect to see him earlier than that, the way that he was sort of off the bridle early doors, and then he really started to motor. So Theatre Man in the plate.
Thank you very much. Currently 11-2 with our sponsors today, BetMGM, take it for Billy. And okay, that's for the plate, Theatre Man. All right, well, let's move on to day 4, final day, Gold Cup day at the Cheltenham Festival, of course. And it's traditional, I guess, that we go straight into the Triumph. If Team GB haven't had a winner at this point, it will be a surprise. But they'll be very, very hopeful with Sergino, Stephen Cass. It's odds on. I can't imagine you have this anywhere near the top of your list.
I'd be mad keen to take him on now, and I will be on the Friday. Like, he jumped like a snooker table the first day. Was it Kempton? I think it was Kempton. And then like he beat Bartlett Road, who I don't think performed. And Bartlett Road I think he's average. I think these UK juveniles, maybe Sergino's a superstar, maybe he is, but I think the UK juveniles are useless. Like, and I mean useless now. Liari and all these horses, like they run 135. They like on Braedon Fassa now wouldn't win a handicap hurdle in Ireland of 110, I'd say. And he's running alongside a lot of these horses. I'd just be worried about his jumping. I'd be worried about the size of him. He looked buzzy at Kempton. I'd be worried about him on the first day of the Gold Cup. Like, you could lay him at 5-4, 11-10 now on the exchanges. I'd be all against him. I just think he looked super the last day, but what the hell did he beat? It reminds me, there was a year, I think it was the year Tiger Roll won it, Guitar Pete and all these horses, and everyone said they were useless, the Irish horses, and they just came, and there was like a 1-2-3 or something, just because they were running on top of each other, but they were just a little grade ahead of the UK horses, and I was feeling that could be the way. But then I don't know which of them's going to win it. You know, I thought that the Jigginstown horse, what's his name? It's escaping me.
Storm Heart.
I thought he was hugely impressive. Like, he was the one for me, and I backed him at 14s for the Triumph after he won in Punchestown. But I thought the Town End gave him a very rare bad ride. Like, he had him out wide, trapped out wide. If he gets a bit of cover, I think he'll love the new course and love the hill at Cheltenham. I'd be giving him a chance, but mainly I'd be looking at ways to take on Sergino.
Yep. If I could have written down Stephen Cass is going to be looking for ways to take on Sergino, and you hadn't made it in time, Stephen, I would have just gone with that. Okay. Stormheart, possibly. Still there at double figures for Willie Mullins. Of course, you've got the likes of Majbra, Cargies, Salvatore Monday, Stormheart, until you find another UK entry, which is Salva. He's a lovely horse. I'm not even sure they're going to run here, Tanya. Will Sergino take all the beating at the top? Does it deserve to be as short as it is?
It's as short as it is of what we saw last time, and were thrilled by him sauntering home, and thus then you earn the quotes come flying about the reaction when you think it's an overreaction or an underestimate is all down to yourselves. But that's what he stamped. He beat Verdet Road a long way, and then you sit back and you make your own opinion. I'm in the Stormheart camp, and I was watching it sort of like this behind my hands through my fingers last time out at Leopardstown, but while doing so, I think we all saw it in that very race. I don't know whether it'll come here, but Ethical Diamond was in that very race, who's yet to win, shall we say, but Ethical Diamond only caught the eye because it was one of those flashy runs. The colours couldn't have been any more distinct, so white colours detached out the back. Initially, when you watch it from the off, it was 5 lengths behind the horse at the back of the field, and then probably 15 lengths behind the leader, and still with 3 hurdles to jump, it is 5 lengths behind the back of the field, and then suddenly sweeps on round and looks one to put in the notebooks, and I'll keep it in the notebooks. Ethical Diamond is certainly be, if this one is allowed to or does represent Willie in the Triumph, is certain value, but I am in the Stormheart camp and hoping that whatever went at Leopardstown in that same very race will be strong and come through nicely this time round. I will look for a way to see Sergino and see how it's short, shall we say, very, very short for a Triumph, because all these youngsters, they all develop at different rates. They all make an odd error, and that is crucial in a Triumph. They're not going to hold back either. And if you do make a crucial error, Ethical Diamond's the one, as we've all seen, that is one of an example that's going to finish late, but Stormheart seems a strong, robust sort for me.
All right, that's 2 votes for Stormheart so far, Dermo and Sergino. I think everyone on the panel, as long as you're going to run behind it, agrees it's way too short. I find that when a horse goes and does what Sergino did on its previous start, is that the way to get money piling into these anti-post markets is put up as odds on as you can, as short as you can possibly go. Don't try and actually price it with, the idea that the race is 3 or 4 months away. Just go straight in, odds on, boom, banker. Is it going to win, Dermo?
Short, but we've kind of been here before. Remember, Apple Shakira was a very, very short price for this, like
Sure.
Sergino is, and then the 2 horses from the Spring Juvenile came and claimed her quite comfortably, Mr. Jubicator and Farkla. And it does strike me as something similar. Sergino looked brilliant last time. He needed a bit of help with his jumping, no doubt, because again, he jumped so poor. But he was brilliant last time, regardless of what those in behind did. Good horses can win bad races. And that didn't look the best of races now, but still, he won it very, very comfortably. I'm happy to go with the Spring Juvenile form as well, but I think Majborough is the one who has the most amount of improvement to come from him. I thought that they didn't really know what they had. They kind of just rode him from the front to kind of see what happens. And Don McLean made this case at our preview night as well. Very happy to kind of go in behind him, and Bunting as well. Dean has an each way price as well. He ran a big race that day as well. So Majborough and Bunting would be 2 that I take against the field, but just like Tanya and Cass here, I'm very happy to take on the favourite.
Fair enough. It all boils down to which one of the Willie Mullins' previous eye catchers do you fancy he's going to go and take the trial? He's going to run 6 or 7 of them, and they all look like they could improve into Sergino. Or Sergino's got to go out there and watch them cover from the back. It should be fascinating. That's the Triumph, of course, on Gold Cup Day. Let's get stuck into the Albert Bartlett. Reading Tommy wrong, very likely to take up this option, although, of course, it has formed beating in Atlantique and in what would traditionally be Mary Bingham or Gallagher's trial. Dancing Cities in here, High Class Heroes here, and I've only got through the top 3 in the market, all trained by Willie Mullins. I'll come to you first. Albert Bartlett, Willie Mullins going to take this from the top end?
Yeah, just trying to figure out who. This isn't a race either to get hung up too much on who Paul Townend rides. As in, Sean O'Keefe has won this race, and Danny Mullins keeps winning the kind of longer race at the DRF. Work at home won't tell you much about these plotters. So I don't envy any of the jockeys trying to pick a horse in the Albert Bartlett. They're all at home.
And
they're all at home, plodding away.
He has the choice here, you think, but he's only really ridden High Class Heroes, don't he?
He's only, Dancing City. He didn't pick him last time, and I know he'll have the choice, but God, you'd be hard to take Daryl Jacob off reading Tommy wrong after that was an absolute screaming ride last time. But you will obviously. I like of all of them. I like High Class Hero towards the front of the market. The one horse as well is Shanna Bob. I kind of haven't made my mind up there. It's Shanna Bob or High Class Hero. I love what Shanna Bob did at Cheltenham. I thought it was absolutely brilliant. That race hasn't really worked out now, but still, he just looked like a big idiot, kind of figuring himself out. He looked like a Santini kind of, who won a similar race as well before finishing third here. He could be a little bit better. Again, Nicky Henderson's stable form is something that we have to keep our eyes over. They're running like trains. So High Class Hero, I do like him. And then Wild Outsider Dean, Chigarin at 40 to 1. Like what he did last time. That is a terrible race that he won, but he won it in the shape of a horse that was kind of visibly improving. Real stayer. So at 40 to 1. But again, I have no proper idea if he runs or not. I've got word that he does, but he did a full stable tour with Kevin Blake. And the problem, this horse wasn't even in it. If he was green and gold, I get a bit excited, but he's not, so he could just not be good. So Chigarin at 40 to 1 Dean, but a race I haven't properly figured out yet. No.
Yeah, Henry Diarmuid. It wouldn't be like him, would it, to improve one just to come in here and win at a big price? That's never happened before, so don't worry about that. Chigarin is an interesting one there. Of course, you gave Shannon Bob a good shout, and High Class Hero, the pick of the Mullins trio at the top. Where would you stand with the Mullins trio at the top, Tanya? What do you like in the AB?
Reading Tommy Wrong is a real battler. As we saw, he came through and beat Ilan Tartik. I think Dancing City surprised everyone, but ought not to have done at the Dubai Racing Festival, beating Predator's Golden Jatara, which I think is really good, strong form. Do we know? Well, I mean, if Gidley Park comes here rather than runs on Wednesday, I'd be. There's no question where I'd be going. I'll be going to Gidley Park. High Class Hero, yeah, it's an embarrassment of riches for Willie, as it is all through the whole of the festival.
Yep.
But I mean, for me, if Gidley Park comes, I'm with Gidley Park wherever he goes. He was, we know all about him. He beat Fireflyer at Newbury. It was mightily impressive, and we've seen Fireflyer come out and win subsequently. And he got everything wrong and yet still won at Cheltenham last time out, Gidley Park. So.
Yep.
But out of those two at the top, and I get that Reading Tommy Roll was brilliant ride by Darryl, but Dancing City, I thought that form is excellent. Beating the Jatara line through and the Predator's Gold for me is good. So if it's no Gidley Park, I'll go with Dancing City.
Dancing City, the pick of the Mullins trio, then at the top of the market, and Gidley Park. I think they probably will go here. They seem to be.
Yeah.
There seem to be murmurings. And at the minute, 9 to 1 with our sponsors, BetMGM for the Albert Bartlett is Gidley Park. It's going to have to take on a lot of good Irish horses, though. Stephen Cash,
they're going to take him on.
That's the right way to look at it, Tanya. That's why I like British spirit coming back into it. Welcome, the Irish. Come and meet Gidley Park.
Come and take Gidley Park on.
Go on, Stephen Castle.
You can only hope.
Yeah, I think sure there's about 12 of them, 14 of them have a chance here. I think the betting is going to be a lot more. It's very open now, and I think you might get bigger prices about quite a few when you have jockey bookings. We have to clue the ground here, so it's very hard to be anyway dogmatic. But the two I would be very interested in are Captain Teague, who I think has shown he's got the class to mix it with the Irish horses, and I think he's an absolute battler, and he'll just stay. So I'd be very interested in him. I'd probably back him. I reckon this race now you get 5 places on the day. So I'm going to wait. And the other one I'm going to back is Stellar Story, who I've been going on about all year for this. He obviously beat Ilat Antique in a bumper, so he's got a bit of class. Got close to Slade Steel at Navan. Very good horse, so he's got a bit of class there as well. He finished 4th behind Dancing City. Now, he's beaten 11 lengths. But what I liked about him was he made a mistake 4 out, made another mistake 2 out, started going backwards, and I thought, oh God, this fella's going to go out the back of the telly. But he actually plugged on, and he was only beaten 11 lengths, wasn't beaten a mile in the end. He's 33 to 1. So, I think the more this is a slog, the better. So if the rain does come, if it's soft ground on the Friday, I think you could get a boil over. Stellar Story be the one. I'd like to do that. I'm going to back him and Captain Teague, but I'm definitely going to wait for today.
Nice. Waiting for the extra concessions is Stephen Cass, of course, with Stellar Story. We've talked about plenty of times on here before. And a decent chance, I think. Let's wait and see what happens on the day to get to the Albert. Of course, that all precedes the big one on the Friday is the Gold Cup. Galloping the shops fast or slow. They've been buying at the top of the market. And, well, since the start of the season, really. Jerry Colomb dipped away, then has maybe come back into prominence a little bit now. The market shaken up. Shishkin came back and got his season back underway after that blip, of course, in the King George. We've got the big four. Brave Man's Game was second last year, sitting there fifth in the bank. And we've got Hewitt, which would be a great story, of course. I wonder how much that horse costs. I don't know. I'm sure someone can let me know. If you're listening, send it. I'm not sure. Long Press, of course, from Venetia Williams. In fact, as I start reading this feels like I'm looking at the anti-post market for the Gold Cup. At the start of the season, we're going to get treated to something pretty good, Tanya, I think. Normally, we look at it at the start of the year and go, if that runs, well, it looks like they're going to run.
Oh, it's just going to be an absolute peach, an absolute belter, isn't it? Because there's been a kind of argument for each of them having a chance. All through the season, the battle between Galloping de Champs and Fast or Slow has been superb. We then throw in the ingredient of Long Presse coming back, Shishkin doing his little antics just to get us all at it, Ascot, and then him sort of falling in the King George. Will he or won't he? Will he or won't he? It's just brilliant. And then you've got Jerry Colomb and Gentleman's Game potentially coming back in.
Actually, Mouse doesn't mess about coming to Cheltenham.
No.
I wouldn't put anyone off.
No, have it. He's like, they were all talking about this, and then Mouse goes, have it. So I'm bringing Gentleman's Game.
Yeah.
And there may be this kind of stigma with Hewitt that he would have to do a Houdini kind of effort like he did at the King George. But when you watch the Gold Cup from last year all over again, Hewitt was leading 4 out because he was given the lead, unfortunately, because of the fall of Ahoy Senior. He then was in the front, and he himself obviously really, really crawly took a tumble, and he was going well enough coming 2 out. He was going well enough. So he has got the pace. He has got the pace to be in contention, because from the off he was in contention alongside Protectorate and Ahoy Senior. Make no bones about that. And it's good to see that Jordan's back to ride Hewitt. I am siding with him. It was a great trial for him this year, because I sense they won't make as much use of him as they did last year, where he was sort of goaded and drawn out to take on Protectorate, and Brave Man's Game was up there as well. It would have been lovely, obviously, to see him jump the second last and get through. But subsequent to that, look, he's been brought through brilliantly. He's come through and won a King George at a track that he should never, ever win at unless they were going to go around another lap. But he did win the King George, and he added a new poser. Since then, meanwhile, we've seen Galloping de Champs do Fast or Slow, and leaving us, as I've said before, I don't know because of that how on earth Fast or Slow got beat at the festival last year, considering how immensely it's improved. We see the likes of Jerry Colomb, Gentleman's Game, then at Weatherby, proving the amount of ability he has, and he can't be a pony. He can't be as big a price as he is, Gentleman's Game. He surely can't. I worry with regards of Long Presse you don't generally go to a Ascot Chase and come and win a King George, a Gold Cup. That just doesn't happen. But so fabulous if he does it. Fabulous, awesome training performance anyway to get him back, and well done to all the team at Venetia's to get him back, to add him into this. It must be a real thrill, but I worry for Long Presse, as I do with Brave Man's Game. Brave Man's Game came to the last fence, Galopin was already alongside and then just eased away. So I sense that for me it is going to be an intriguing dynamic with it not. I don't think Shishkin is going to be winning the Gold Cup either. He's going to be there or thereabouts. But once again, yes, there is the argument, is he going to win the King George? But that's a Kempton again. That is a Kempton. And there is an extra distance to go at Cheltenham, and it's really, really tough. And they will not hold back, especially as we've got probably an immense Gold Cup oozing Grade 1 winners. So I'm sticking with Hewitt. But I do sense that my big dangers are going to be the big two titans of Gallopin de Champs and Fast or Slow doing battle once more. But if Gentleman's Game comes up, I will have a right smile. That would not surprise me, but I'm Hewitt.
Hewitt for Tanya. And the way the race plays out, it's going to suit a horse like Hewitt, a little bit like that King George runs we just discussed, where the track isn't suitable for him, but yet he was able to come through and beat some more fancied names. It's been the story of his life, I think, so far. Go on, Stephen Cass. The Gold Cup is in front of you. The field, we think, is as I described, looking star-studded. What are you going to be backing?
Yeah, it's a fantastic race. I think if Gallopin de Champs from Christmas shows up, he's obviously going to win, but I think there's a huge question mark about that. And, you know, I wouldn't like to back it at even money that horse shows up. He's ran 4 times since Cheltenham last year. Very hard, obviously, win a second Gold Cup like a Punchestown. I hated that run. Like he kind of came to win it and folded. Was very sticky then at Punchestown as well in the John Durkin. Then he was awesome at Christmas, and then he was grand. But he's had a very hard time of it since, and you just wonder, will it leave a mark? I've heard lots of people intimating, oh, look at this price in the exchange. Now, I think that's maybe because of the strength of the field that we're ending up with, that it's pushed out 2.1 to 2.6. But at the same time, there's little bits and pieces of rumours going around as well. So I just wonder about Gallopin de Champs. Will it go right today? He isn't a good jumper either. He can't jump exuberantly from the front and be spectacular. He did do that in the Gold Cup. He can jump sticky and get back far in his ground. Like, I'd love to be laying him at even money if that comes up. So I'd be very not against Gallopin de Champs. Of course, he can win. I think he's been an amazing horse. So let's see, maybe he'll go and do it. But I'd be mad keen to take him on. I probably will lay him because there's so many here, and you wouldn't be surprised if any of 10 of them won it. If we do get that 22 mils of rain, I think Jerry Colomb becomes a massive player. They've been gearing him up for this all year. I think maybe they were so confident after Down Royal. Had they enough done with him? He looked like a horse that didn't have enough done at Christmas. At the same time, he still finished second to beat a few good horses like Capitano, who went on subsequently Frank the Form. He's only had 11 career starts. He's won 9 of them. So if there's soft ground on the day, like he's the coming horse, the young horse, I'd like Jerry Colomb. And the other one I backed at 66s. I think he's maybe 40s, definitely 40s at BetMGM, maybe 40s best now. The real whacker, I just think, I love an RSA winner coming here. They can come here off the back of bad preps and win, a la Lord Windermere. But I don't think he has had a bad prep. If you watch the King George back, he's only beaten 10 lengths, I think. He wasn't beaten far, and he's off the bridle a long way. Maybe it didn't suit him. Yeah, 10 lengths just clicking in here now. And if you look at the race the last day with Capitano on the Cotswold Chase, he's kind of headed, and then this fella's gone. He's going to fall out the back to telly, and he really ran on well. Really ran on well. It's at the back of the last. That was 3-1. An extra furlong might suit. So I think the real whacker, I wouldn't totally write him off. I wouldn't rule him out. And he's the biggest price of the ones that I could realistically see winning. So I'm going to back him as well. I have backed him.
Okay. Jerry Colomb comes into it. Of course, if background does go the way that's possibly going to go with the forecast, and the real whacker shouldn't be written off. This is one of those races where if anyone here made a sensible case for any of the horses, I wouldn't fight too much with them. Nolan, Jerry Colomb was always your baby. Has he come back into the reckoning now?
Yeah, 100%. I kind of loved him, didn't like him after Down Royal, and then I've kind of found my way back to him again. I think a terrible love story. But yeah, I just think, for all the reasons Cass said again, I've very little to add. The drift would concern me a little bit just with how bullish they were all the time about this horse in general. So he should be odds on, really. But Jerry Colomb has just an awful lot of promise. And if they do come and attack him, like I think Long Pressing and a good few of them will, this really could go to a really tough stayer. I think Jerry Colomb is that and then something.
Yeah, 100%. I don't think I've ever backed Jerry Colomb. I probably in my head would think I'm never going to back Jerry Colomb. If this comes up soft ground and he's anything like the 9 and 10 to 1 out there for the Gold Cup, I do think he represents a little bit of value. We'll all be very hopeful, of course, if we do get crowned. From a racing point of view, from a sporting point of view, Gallopin's chance to come back and win it and set up what would be the clash of the century back to Pile next year would be, maybe I shouldn't do it. Il est français, I meant to say. Sorry, guys. I know all the hipsters will be upset with me. But there's some.
Come on, our castle kill you. Come on.
Okay. Well, look, you can do the next race very quickly, Stephen Cass. How far would Dino Blue win the Mayor's Chase by? Or will she win at all?
Yeah, I think she will win. I mean, look, her form, her pedigree would suggest she'll stay. Her form behind El Fabiola is the best form in the race. I don't think there's that much in the race, and I wouldn't fancy Allegory Devassi. I think she's soft. She's a bad jumper. She jumps right. So yeah, bit of a dull one, but I think Dino Blue is pretty solid.
That's fine. I think Dino Blue run behind El Fabiola. It's like hardly best she's ever done, I'd say, even though it was in defeat. There is a trip out here though, Tanya. Is there a trip out for Dino Blue?
Riviere de Tel, if she goes again. She was going to win it last year, I sense, but for getting a really bad bump, and because of that bump, she fell. She was coming through beautifully, went down the danger route, and she just travels. She's always given the utmost respect when she takes on the boys as well. She races against Blue Lord. She was 5th to Edwardstone in the Arkle. She's taken Fernie Hollow. She's also running a Grade 1 behind Galopin de Champs. And as I mentioned, she was going to win last year. She's a hardy old soul. And I thought she ran exceptionally well considering she was quite pitched up against St. Sam last time out. I should think it was more of a case that Gordon felt that she just needed a run to come onto Cheltenham and put a spot on, and St. Sam went and bossed it. But once again, now she's coming back to a race that she could have won last year. So compensation, she's quite a nice each way proposition as well. So even if you think that Dino Blue is going to win easily or just win, she's going to be there or thereabouts at the end. She comes with that top Grade 1 quality and against the boys.
Yep, I was there when she beat Allegory Devassi at Fairy House. It was one of her runs this season. Absolutely bossed it from the front left, Paul Town, and wondering what he had to do to play catch up. Riviere de Tel at 20-1. Best price is out there at the minute with our sponsors BetMGM for the Mez. Nolan, but I'll ask you, Dino Blue, gonna land me my big Cheltenham Festival double from earlier on in the season on the race out or not?
I wish you the best of luck, but I hope that double doesn't land. I hope Monty Star has usurped that. But
there won't be any compensation to get this neck up. I tell you that.
He wins. What kind of interested me was Keith Donoghue's surprising confidence that Brides Hill would give her a rattle when Brides Hill looks to plenty of ground to make up. Yeah. But he seemed very, very confident, which was very interesting. Might back her on the day if the ground comes up good, but very disappointed in him because Dino Blue versus Impervious versus Halka de Taber could have been a cracker. But look, it is what it is. But Dino Blue should take a lot of stopping. Yeah,
should do. I'll probably get to that point and have to back everything else in the race or lay the back end of Dino Blue and hope that it all goes up. Okay, all right, we got through day 4, but of course there are the rest of the races on day 4 that we can get stuck into. We're talking about obviously the pipe and stuff like handicaps. Stephen Cash, you must have something lurking on the final day of the Cheltenham Festival that can get us all out of trouble after following this magic trio for the rest of the week.
I'm so rattled now. What are the handicaps on the last day? Martin Pipe and the county.
Jesus. Martin Pipe and the county, yeah. Jesus.
Hey, Diarmuid, you know what I'm doing? I'm trying to book that bloody bag for your flight here, okay? So give me a break. Text to me, will you book me a flight? I'm like, jeez, I'm right. I've nothing for those races.
You have the county and Marsh.
No, I've nothing for those races.
Hunter's Chase.
Yeah, don't fancy it. I don't know what
Thanks very much. Yeah, right? That's great.
Do you know, nobody cares, but now that there's this free 2 minutes that I was going to be talking, what do you fancy over the 2 days?
I fancy. My kind of season has been based around Iker Allen in the Potence, although we didn't talk about it too much. Do you know what? I heard someone talk about Iker Allen the other day, I think on the preview night, saying that has there ever been a horse set up so many times? Is the Potence, after qualified it this way, going to be the actual day? I would be shocked, to be honest, but I am on Iker Allen, of course. I'm definitely going to take on Sergino in the Triumph, but I've been betting all of the anti-Cheltenham establishment bets, Stephen. Give you a couple that piqued my interest the most. Biggest winning SP, I've gone 14-1. It's under 22-1. I think that's the kind of chance that we're looking at this year. I know that you're the kind of guy telling me that's absolutely no chance. Ireland 23 winners is 17-1, and the UK to have none at all. As we managed to get it priced up at 150-1, which probably isn't value, but it's the way my head is at that this Cheltenham Festival could fall that way. We could be all staring at Sergino come the Friday, going, "This is the one that needs to get it done for them."
There was two specials I thought were interesting. One, you can back, not unfortunately with BetMGM, but you'll find it. A UK 1-2 in the Ultimate, 2-1, which I thought was fair enough because you probably only have about 4 Irish runners. So I liked that bet. I think it gives
There's a
you
Gold Cup horse running in that. There was then meeting of the waters. Good luck to.
Yeah. I presume Diarmuid got a few quid out of that from setting that up.
Oh my God!
for
Deb
David Mullins.
puts out a tweet on the Racehour. There's I think
Yeah.
3/4 of what was it, 500,000 impressions. Suddenly JP buys the thing.
Yeah. Look, I'd say knowing the way JP they take care now, I think that
I'm
that
sure he
deal
was just
probably
waiting for
in
it
the
to be
offset
said, yeah.
before.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's special. And the other one I kind of liked because he's going to have so many rides, and Willie's book is so strong, and he seems to be number 2 this season. I wouldn't be as big as fan of the jockey, but Patrick Mullins without Townend is 14-1. 12-1 with BetMGM. I think that's an interesting bet. He's going to have the favourite in the bumper. He's going to have Embassy Gardens, and he's going to have loads of other rides. Obviously, he can ride in every race, which a lot of jockeys can't. So I think 12-1 with BetMGM. Patrick Mullins to be top jockey without Paul Townend strikes me as a very big
Savage. I did not know that was there. I like that a lot. Thank you, Stephen. Tanya, anything else on the Friday? We are talking, of course, the County, Pipe and Hunters. Anything else that we need to have, or anything else that piqued your interest?
I will keep a close eye on the St James's Palace on Secret Investor. Reason being, I've been so impressed with Natalie Parker, and I was watching the other day Famous Claremont come back out because I'm keen for him over the those big spruce fences in the Fox Hunters to do back to back, and I was watching it very closely. He got beat by SB de Guy, ridden by Natalie Parker, and I think that a fair double figure price Secret Investor could get in the frame, if not win in that
25-1, yeah, with our sponsors BetMGM for the St James Palace, the Hunters Chase, of course. Okay, Nolan, you can finish this off on Friday.
First of all, just breaking Ballyburn runs in the Gallagher's or whatever the hell it's called now. It's all confirmed.
And the Oasis,
Willie on Sport and Life has confirmed it.
That's a breath of fresh air.
They're on Il Atlantique, do you think, in the Supreme now? Townend loves Il Atlantique. I wonder.
Imagine.
That's kind of what I'm thinking now as well. But Tully Hill, I'd say he'll be on him. But for these races, I like 3 in the county, so I'm hoping 1 doesn't run so that I just have 2 because I only ever back 2 in the handicaps. Under Control looks really, really well handicapped of 138, but again, Nikki's horses have to start running better, but she's absolutely thrown in on the Iberico Lord form. I like the fact that he was moved away from here as well. I think that suggests that Nikki and JP have something else that they can rely upon in the county. Zenta and Magical Zoe are the other 2. That's just from the DRF. The 2 of them were miles ahead of everything else. The ground just caught them on the day. It was putrid ground at Leopardstown. They both travelled so well. £3 each they got on top of their marks. That's absolutely nothing. Magical Zoe, she deserves one as well because she probably should have won that Mares Novices last year. And then in the Martin Pipe, my old friend Shambali Kid, I think he could run huge, but I doubt he'll get in. But the one who will get in and who has been signposted all season for this is No Ordinary Joe, who's basically, they took what they did with Early Doors and they've just switched it to this lad, and he's been at them all season. And I wasn't surprised last time that he kind of got a bit closer. I'd say Nicky didn't want his heart to kind of stay broken, and really interested. I hope young Joe Anderson rides him. He's absolutely brilliant jockey. So the Martin Pipe, I would love No Ordinary Joe, and this looks like a 365 day plan with him.
Lovely, thank you, Devon. But one of the greatest moments on this podcast is going to be you announcing where Ballyburn runs after its run, because this is the day 3 and day 4 preview on the race. Festival, which would be quite something else.
It just broke. Yeah. In 2 hours' time, when our listeners have read this already, they'll be delighted to have heard that.
They need to hear it again. Thursday.
Yeah, they will. Breaking news in 2 hours' time when this finally goes online when Cameron gets it finished. Yeah.
All right, guys, look, we're gonna wrap up this podcast. I'm gonna take one nap from you. It can be from any day at the festival. We did day 1 and day 2 before, so hopefully your best bet of day 3 and day 4 will come out of your mouths, of course, on this race. Whatever your best one from day 3 and day 4 is.
I know the way you're thinking, and it's the nap overall as well. Yeah.
Lovely. I know the way you're thinking for them and on. Stephen Cass.
Jello each way in the Turners.
Wonderful. Jello, I think
It's a
it
big
was
shout.
25 to 1, I think, is what it was with BetMGM earlier on. Of course, Venetia Williams is Jello. All right, Tanya, your bets.
Dean, I had one in the county as well. I was I was so busy booking that
Oh my
bag. And
God.
listeners will be delighted to hear the bag is booked. 45 quid to book a bag on Ryanair. That's absolutely scandalous, I must say. But sure, I suppose that's why no one does it. But now I'm really, do you know what I'm worried? And listeners, if you don't hear from me the week after Cheltenham, I don't know what Diarmuid needs a 20-kilo bag going into the hotel. So I'm very worried about how the stay is going to work out, what's going to happen, why he needs this massive piece of kit that he's bringing. So
It's because I'm staying on an extra night than you would have a work event. That's why. That's why.
yeah.
I do a work event on Wednesday.
When you chop Stephen Cass into little bits, it'll fit perfectly,
Exactly.
on the way back.
2 bags went over to Cheltenham for 2 days.
Come on, what's the horse in the county? Come on.
In the county, Zenta, I think
Yeah.
he's been training all the 5-year-olds completely differently in a way, you know, especially the fillies. She went one little chase start December or whatever, but I thought she ran a cracker in the best Irish handicap hurdle of the year. She finished third, looked the winner jump in the last, slow jump caught her out, back in her hind legs. I couldn't believe she was 16s when I looked at the bet. So I did have one. Sorry, I was just
Fine.
I'm so ruffled on this podcast now. I'm all over the place. So Zenta, I'm sorry, I think Tanya for the nap. Isn't that the next thing?
I asked Tanya what her best was. I did her in day 4. And I'm assuming it's not Zenta, Tanya, so you go for it.
Yeah, it'll be Theatre Man for the nap.
Lovely.
Yeah, in the plate, and
Up
I'll
against Rebelli.
flag up Springtime Promise. Bless her. I think she'll run well for her next best.
Yeah, she doesn't know what price she is. I think she's a very interesting shout for Fergal O'Brien. I've been talking about it all year. I hope some people are on a better price than me, but it does all seem to be aligning for Tifu in the States. I think it's going to take a while to beat it. This lot have told you why it can't win, and I'll just tell you that it will. You've been listening to the Race Hour, of course, brought to you with our friends at BetMGM. Do get the best offer in the industry. Bet 10, get 60, of course, is up there on the screens with you. Our bit.ly is MGM Race Hour. I've been Dean Ryan. Dermot Nolan's been here. Stephen Cass and Tanya Stevenson. It's the last one, I think, before we rock into Cheltenham Town. I hope you have a very good festival. Best of luck from us at the Race Hour. We'll see you after it's all done.
Relentless, remorseless, and pounded Cordon Star into submission.